How you doing this morning, Babs? Happy New Year.
Fine. Happy New Year.
And what's your first name again?
Ashley.
We have Officer Ashley McKernan, who while you and I were sleeping, or I was trying to sleep, she's been like patrolling our the Webb district. Good morning, Officer McKernan. That's Babs Rawls-Ivy. She's the host of Love Babs Love Talk.
Hi, pleasure to meet you.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing lovely. Thank you so much. How are you?
Listen, how's the weather out there?
I mean, it's been worse, that's for sure. Unseasonably warm, so I can't complain, you know?
Officer McKernan, what's the word on the street this morning?
Oh, nothing. So this morning, we just got done with, we wrapped up a scene on Norton Street. I obviously can't talk about ongoing investigations, but we just wrapped up a scene on Norton Street. It's actually been relatively busy. I've been working since midnight. So it's been relatively busy for like the last 8 hours or so.
So you've been working since midnight, but now we're talking it's after 10 o'clock. So usually an officer who's working at midnight works from 12 to 8, correct? That's C shift.
Right. So normally we work 8-hour shifts. So that would be midnight until 8 o'clock in the morning.
But you're still here.
Yep.
How come?
Because I picked up a double today.
And is that because while we're a little bit short on staff and we've been officers sometimes working double shifts?
Absolutely. We actually have a lot of overtime right now because we're so understaffed. So if people don't pick up, then people are mandated to work overtime. So people kind of lower in seniority will be forced into working overtime. I'd rather be willing to pick up the overtime and be happy to help my fellow coworkers out. So
I'll admit I was a little surprised when you told me you work a double shift because you seem pretty bright-eyed. You seem more awake than I am. How do you do a double shift? Like when it's been dark, middle of the night, the whole city's asleep. It's come back to life. You've been running around. How do you keep the energy up?
Well, I've been on midnights for the past year, so I'm kind of adapted to it. I have my normal kind of sleep schedule now and eating schedule and things like that. So I have adapted to it, as well as, you know, tonight in particular, the city was busy. So when it's busy, it's a lot easier to stay awake. It's not a lot easier when you're talking to people and you're interacting with the public. And
there were people to talk to. Like
at
at 4 in the morning, was there anyone to talk to?
Oh yeah, the city does not sleep.
Now, as part of that, like, who do you talk to at 4 in? Does it have to be a crime call, or do you just see people around?
Well, sometimes I work downtown. Most of the time I work downtown. And there's a lot of homeless people out, things like that. People that you can kind of just check in on, make sure they're good. Obviously, our coworkers, we all work together. We go to calls together. So when we go to calls, you know, you always have a partner. And yeah, and obviously people on calls, people in the area on the calls, things like that. So we try our best.
So were you downtown overnight, or is it two shifts, two different districts?
So I work downtown overnight, but again, because we're so spread thin, we kind of end up all over the place. So even though I worked downtown last night, I ended up in Fairhaven. I ended up kind of all over the place last night. So now this morning, I'm here.
So in other words, for this shift, you're assigned, is this D5, D8?
This is technically D10.
D10, Webb, Whaley, Edgewood, Beaver Hills.
Yep.
So it's a different kind of beat, right?
Yeah.
So overnight, was it mostly checking in on homeless people, or was there a crazy night?
So it was, but it was also, we help other districts out, so we help each other out. So although my primary beat is downtown, I'll end up working all over the city wherever they need me. So obviously, if someone needs help on like a really important call in Fairhaven, I'm gonna go help them in Fairhaven. I'm not just gonna sit in downtown while they handle, you know, some crazy chaotic scene. And so we help each other out. Like we work as a team out here, and we try our best to make sure no one's really left hanging. And so, yeah.
So what do you do energy-wise? So you finish one shift, it's 12 to 8. You're in night mode, your regular mode.
Yeah.
You're going to a second shift. Is there something like you pick up to eat, or some kind of mental exercise you do for 5 minutes, or a song you listen to? Something you do to get it rev backed up?
Yeah, I mean, just like everyone else, when the sun comes up, I want coffee, so I always go get coffee.
Where?
I'm a big Dunkin' girl. I not to throw any shade on Starbucks, but I'm a big Dunkin' girl, so I always get Dunkin'.
What kind? Like black or?
No, I light and sweet, just like me, light and sweet.
So you got, what time was that? What time was sun up?
Sun up. I think today. Well, today it was a little bit different because I ended up on a scene for going from midnight shift into day shift. So I was stuck out there on that scene for a while, and then I went from one scene right into another. Because it's back to back today, just the kind of day it was. But normally it's like around, I don't know, 6:30.
Uh-huh.
I'll get coffee like right in between.
So you were still on C shift, technically downtown.
Technically.
Do you go back to the station in between the double shift for lineup?
It depends on what's going on. Sometimes if I can make it, then I will. A lot of what's going to be said during day lineup, I either heard during nighttime lineup or I worked through it on C Squad. So it can be a little bit repetitive if I go to both. But if I can make it, then I do. And we have a lot of equipment changes too. Like we have our body cams and stuff like that that run out of battery. So you need to swap.
Did you
them
have to do that this morning?
Yeah.
So did you go back to the station?
I haven't yet, but I still have 30%, so I'm okay.
So this is from the first
You
shift.
caught me before I got a chance to
Yeah.
go back.
Now you did get brunch, right? Where'd you
I
get
did.
that?
I went to Tropical Smoothie Cafe
On Broadway.
On right
Dixwell.
after Broadway, but Dixwell. Yeah,
What'd you get?
I got a quesadilla.
What kind?
Chicken and cheese.
All
Nothing
right.
crazy.
How was it?
And I got a smoothie.
What kind?
This is the mango. I think it's like mango madness or tropical something. I always add a fat burner and an energizer.
What's a fat burner?
Fat burner helps me lose weight.
Tell me, what is it?
It does its job. It's like a supplement, like a powder that they add in. Yeah.
I have to admit, they're not my favorite smoothies because I think they add sugar, don't they, or some kind of sweetener? I like the fruit.
Probably.
So how long you been an officer?
I've been an officer for 4 years now.
4 years. But you still work a midnight shift. How long does that take?
I work midnight shift by choice.
By choice.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't like it, right? That's what you do early on. You say, I did my time. I did my midnight shift, unless you're a supervisor again, right? Then you got to start over.
Yeah.
What do you like about midnight shift? Because I know sometimes sleep patterns get disrupted.
So I like midnight shift because it gives me more time with my family during the day. I don't have kids. A lot of people on midnights have kids. I don't, but I'm getting married this year. So I've had a lot of wedding planning to do. I'm in a wedding next year, wedding planning to do with that. So it gives me the whole day open to do whatever I need to do.
When do you sleep? Like how many hours?
Normally I'll sleep during the evening. Sometimes I have to change it because I have other things going on in my personal life. But usually I'll sleep in the evening. So I'll sleep from like 3 o'clock at night to about maybe 10.
Me at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So in other words, when you're off work, a lot of people, when they've worked late, you can't, I remember the small days reporting, you can't go right to bed,
Yeah.
right? Because your body's been in sort of work mode, right?
So it depends on the person. Some people, I know a lot of people, and when I first worked midnight, so I used to work midnights when I first got on, and then I went back to evenings, and then I went back to midnight. So when I first got on midnights, I was the type of person I like to crash as soon as I got home. And some people are still like that. They like to crash as soon as they get home. For me, I like to stay up. It's hard because you have to push through like kind of like a wall where you want to go to sleep, but you don't really want to. And you're like back and forth. You push past the wall, you'll be good to go. You can stay up pretty much all day because you wake up with the sun. Your body wants to wake up with the sun.
So now you said a few moments ago that you actually like midnight. You're probably kind of popular for that, right?
What do you mean?
That you take those midnight shifts.
Oh yeah, probably.
So
Yeah.
what is it that you like about midnight?
The crew I work with is phenomenal. The crew that we have on midnights is awesome. We have a lot of fun when we can.
Like what would be fun?
Just like getting together. Just the calls that we go on together too. Like it's just good when you have a team that can work cohesively together. Let me put it.
But what
that way.
about the schedule? Do you like the schedule? Do you like midnight schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I like that I have my own personal time during the day when everybody's up doing things. When you're working evenings, it gets a little tough because that's when
You mean
everyone
B
does
shift?
dinner.
Yeah.
That's when everyone does dinner, stuff like that. Everyone goes out, so it's like hard working during that time, you know. Right now, I'm sleeping during that time because otherwise I would be like a vampire. I would never see the sun, you know.
What made you want to be an officer?
I actually became an officer because I liked crime scene investigation. So I went to school for forensic science and forensic technology. I actually have a master's degree.
From UNH?
Mhm.
Would you grow up around here?
No, I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
So grew up in New Jersey, came here for school, just never left basically. And
Oh, you came from UNH. That we got you thanks to UNH.
Yeah.
And then you saw they were. Let me ask you this: do you hope one day to be in BOI, Bureau of Investigation? Is that your goal?
Yeah, crime scene work is what I really love.
And what do you like about that?
I like the science in the fact that it's to do something to help people. Like it's not just like chemistry in a lab somewhere. It's out in the field and you're doing things that are truly making a difference in other people's lives. And I think that's why a lot of us got onto this job, is to help make a difference in people's lives. But that was it. And then, logistically, I like the puzzle piecing aspect of it. I like, solving the crime, who did it, like that thing that all of us love to do, like forensic files, like all that stuff. Like, I love that stuff. Like, it's fun to solve the crime.
What was the favorite moment you ever had as a cop so far in your 4 years?
Oh, that's tough.
Or the moment you'll never forget?
One moment I'll never forget that always occurs to me was I went to one of my first calls that I took. I still had my FTO with me, but I was on my own.
That's a field training
Yes,
officer.
my field training officer. I was on my own. So it was like one of the first calls that I took, like,
Where were
total
you?
control of. I was in East Shore District, and we went to a domestic incident, and it was two younger people. They were not minors. They were adults, but they were young, like, early 20s, even earlier than that, I think. And she had unfortunately been very badly abused by this young man, and had bruises, everything. And we were able to really help her, really, really go. And like, we went and we cleared all her stuff out of the house. She was staying with him. We cleared all her stuff out of the house, got her out. Her family came with us. We all took all her stuff out, and we all got her stuff out of there. And she was so scared when we got there. And when we left, she was at her parents' house, out of his house entirely. And she and her family were so thankful, like genuinely, truly so thankful, because of the way that we approached the situation. We didn't come in cold or stern. We were really trying to help. And I came in like, hey, like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Like, this shouldn't have to happen to you, and I want to help you. And so just the way that we approached it, she really appreciated it.
So why does this one stick in your mind 4 years later?
I think because it was the first time that I really saw and knew that I had helped somebody. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this girl is going to be with her family in her house, and this young man is going to have to get, some kind of consequence for his behavior. And maybe because of our intervention, maybe he realizes that this is unacceptable, and now she's in a safe place.
So you started out wanting to be,
like I had done something right.
so you started out saying, I like CSI, that's why I'm being an officer.
Yeah.
Then you're on the street, you actually like help someone not get hurt. Did that broaden what your view of it, or you had already kind of gotten there?
Absolutely. I never, ever thought I was going to do this job. This was not something I thought I was going to do. It's not something that I really wanted to do, but it's where my career path took me. And I said, well, if I never try, then I don't know. So if I try it and it doesn't work out, just like any other job, all right, I tried it, wasn't for me, I'll move on. But it just so happened that this has been like a really great fit for me, and I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed patrol a lot more than I thought I was going to. And
well, you're volunteering for midnight shifts.
yeah, look at me go. And I'm volunteering for doubles. Look at me go.
So what's the best part about being on patrol?
The best part about being on patrol is not to sound like a broken record, but truly being able to make a difference. If you really see things and you feel like, things could be handled differently, people could be spoken to differently, or you want to be the person that is there for somebody in their hardest day, and you want to help make their hard day a little bit better, you have the opportunity to do that here. And
right.
That's like the coolest thing. Like, you do what you want to do, So
Hey, Babs is very involved in operating a domestic shelter years back. Babs, do you have any questions for Officer McKernan?
So what is your ambition? Because you sound like what we want policing to look like.
Well, originally, like, the whole reason I came here was just because I wanted to work crime scene. I loved crime scene, and I love crime scene for the reason that, like I'm saying, like, a lot of people say that they want to help people, and a lot of people get onto this job because they want to help people, and they're not wrong in saying that. And I don't think that, they're lying about that, but it's hard to do it day in and day out. I'll say that, because it's emotionally exhausting. You do this over and over again, and you see people in their hardest time over and over again, and people at their worst over and over again.
So
And
do
it
you think
becomes-
you could become a detective? Like, because that to me sounds like that would be
Well, yeah,
ideal.
that is absolutely the goal. Yeah, absolutely. On the logistic thing, like logistically, yeah, that's what I would want to do. I want to become a detective, and
And do CSI.
yeah, and do CSI. Yeah, and do that for years. Hopefully, I get there and I just stay there for years. That would be the goal.
Babs, you haven't asked the question I thought you were going to ask, Babs.
What?
Who you get married to?
Oh. No
I'm
one
a-
on the
I'm a-
job.
That was
I'm
the
a
question.
justice of the peace, so you know,
Yeah,
if you
she's just a
need,
piece. You go to New Hallville. She does it on her porch.
Oh,
or I
thank you.
can come to wherever you are in Connecticut or anywhere, because now I'm an ordained minister, so I can do it.
Oh, congratulations.
I didn't know that. That's
Wonderful.
awesome. Hey, now the body camera. Where do you have to go to switch it out? Do you have to go down, take a break, and go to 1 Union Ave?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's down at 1 Union. We have a loading dock because when you take it off and you put it on the dock, it uploads all of the video footage. So it does everything right there. So all we gotta do is take it off, put it on, take the other one out, put it on. Good to go.
All right, Babs, we good to go for our first of the new year? Word on the
Yes,
street
this-
at WNH.
This is
What
a,
a
you know
treat.
what? This sets a good tone. I like it.
Awesome. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I could do that for you.
Well, and you know what? It is nice to sort of put another face on policing, because I know it's been very difficult these last several years with, you know, with bad apples out there representing, and to sort of see good apples out there is refreshing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're out here. So I'm happy that I'm happy to be that person for y'all.
So, Babs, this is Officer McKernan and your reporter, Paul Bass, here at WNHH's Word on the Street. Right
Thank
back.
you
to
very much,
Harris.
Paul. Good way to start the new year. Good way to start the new year.